Hello students, in our last class we discussed about India-Pakistan conflicts. Initially we discussed about the three wars that were fought between the two countries. One was fought right after independence, another was in 1965. Then we have the war of 1971 which led to the creation of Bangladesh. Then there was the fourth one which was the Kargil war. Then there were a few other issues that we discussed about India and Pakistan, the acquisition of nuclear weapons by both the countries, which has also led to a minimal chances of direct confrontation between the two countries, meaning that there is a minimum possibility of a direct war between these two countries, which has led Pakistan to attack in smaller versions, like smaller tactical attacks on India, which is mostly in form of terrorist attacks, which are then the ISI, Inter-Service Intelligence Agency of Pakistan, is often blamed for such attacks. So this has been the major issue of discussion. Then we also discussed a few other things about both these countries. One was the Indus Water Treaty, which was mediated by World Bank in 1916. Now you have to remember these things. You may be asked these questions in one marker questions. Then there are other conflicts like the Sar Creek issue, which is related to a marshy area, which is just like some of the area is claimed by Pakistan and it is actually possessed by India. Then we also discussed the issue of Kashmir. Now today we will be starting with India and its neighbors, meaning apart from Pakistan we will be discussing the other powers in the region and their relation with India. Initially we start with Bangladesh. There are a few issues with Bangladesh. We will be discussing the problems, then we will be discussing the cooperation between the two countries. The first issue is sharing of Ganga and Brahmaputra river waters. Now if you just let me just pull you the map of India. Okay, this is the map, and if you must have noticed that Ganga roughly starts from here, and Yamuna starts from here, Ganga starts from here. They just meet at Allahabad, and then they just combinedly flow like this, and they just enter into Bangladesh just like that. And similarly Brahmaputra comes from here, and then it just like enters into. So both these rivers, Ganga and Brahmaputra, they just initially they just flow into India, and then they just towards their end they just flow into Bangladesh. So there is a river water sharing issue between the two countries. Bangladesh have often accused India of a big brotherly approach, that since India is a major power in the region, so it is just like often bullying the smaller power. It is not leaving the right amount of water that is to be that Bangladesh deserves. And this is has been there have been a few agreements also between the two countries. India is also freely sharing the water data with Bangladesh. Let me just tell you a little bit about this river water sharing data agreement. Let us suppose that there is a high flood of water in Ganga, and we have noticed it in UP or Bihar. Then we just share that data with Bangladesh so that it prepares them to handle that large flow of water. And it is most of the time it is a paid data, but India is doing it at a free of cost. Similarly, if we talk about the Brahmaputra river, which is initially flowing, its major part is flowing in China, then it's enter into India, but China charges for its data that it shares with India. So this is a little bit of a goodwill gesture from India towards Bangladesh. But Bangladesh have often accused India of a big brotherly approach in sharing water, that it just like first meet its need and just leave little amount of water for Bangladesh's needs. Then there are other issues like illegal migration from Bangladesh to India. Illegal migration is a big issue between India and Bangladesh, in the sense that there is another fact related to this thing, that if you talk about the two borders in the entire world which sees the largest illegal migration, they are between Mexico and United States, and the second one is Bangladesh and India. This is such a large scale problem, but then also Bangladesh categorically denies it. If we just like catch their citizens on the territory of India, then Bangladesh denies that they are not our citizens and we are not going to take them back. So this is a big problem, and the border terrain is so that India cannot just uh, cannot put up personnel or cannot put up any facility to block the entire geographical territory between the two countries. Then there is the third problem is this, that Bangladesh denies India's troops, India's army, or India's transport. It does not allow India's transport to cross through its geographical territory into our northeast. Now if you just see this area, this is West Bengal here, and this is Bangladesh, and this is our northeast. So if somebody has to go from Orissa to northeast or to Mizoram, then he will have to go through this, and then he will have to go to this area like that. And if Bangladesh allows that, it just cuts this border from here, and it can reach the state of Mizoram in a very short period of time. But Bangladesh does not allow it. At the same time, it allows Myanmar people to cross its borders, to cross its geographical territory. So that is an accusation from India that Bangladesh should allow these things. Then there is the issue of natural gas. Natural gas, which is Bangladesh has got some reserves of natural gas, but it does not sell it to India, does not allow India to extract those, to exploit those resources. So these are a few issues between India and Bangladesh. Then there is a little bit of territorial issues, which was like little bit of some of the problems that were resolved. If it is mentioned right here that land boundary agreement between India and Bangladesh in 2015 led to exchange of certain enclaves. Enclaves mean certain clusters where people are living, and India ceded more land to Bangladesh, and it just took some of the population. It claimed that these parts should be India. So that border problem was resolved up to some limit. Then as we talk about the cooperation, the second thing is when Bangladesh is part of India's Look East policy, which was devised, like we discussed earlier, in 1992 during PV Narasimha Rao government, which was changed to Act East policy since 2014 by the President Narendra Modi government. So Bangladesh is part. Then both the countries, they have trade relations also, but apart from that, India has also accused Bangladesh of the Islamist fundamentalist group, which are ripening their activities there, which are building their organizations in Bangladesh against India. So these are some of the issues that are between India and Bangladesh. Second comes Nepal. Nepal and India enjoy a special relationship. Now there are a few things categorically you have to remember with respect to Nepal. The first one is Nepal allows a passport free travel into its territory for the Indians, and similarly India also allows Nepali citizens to travel passport free to work on Indian soil. And in fact, let me tell you one more thing that is not mentioned in the book, that Indian Army is the only army in the world that allows foreign national to serve in its services. That is not as a matter of fact the army, but the other government services also. If you will notice any government form, then you will be seeing that you will be provided a column where you have to state that whether you are Indian citizens or a citizen of Nepal and Bhutan. So these two countries, people are allowed to be part of our armed forces and part of our government jobs also. None other country in the entire world does that. You cannot allow other countries people to be in your armed forces, because this is an issue related to national security, but India does that to Nepal. Then there are a few other things. Then there is these are the good things. Then there are like water resources which are shared by Nepal, and we have hydropower projects that are often just like constructed in Nepal, and the electricity is being sold to India. But these are like more of problems for India rather than getting benefited due to the approach or the political instability in Nepal. So though these things are good, but at the same time India China is playing a role in India and Nepal's relations. Whenever India is not extending any help to Nepal, or any sort of help that they are expecting from India, they just like take those goods or take those things from China. So Nepal uses China as a bargaining power against India, and which India does not like. We are not only allowing them to serve in our armed forces, but at the same time we are extending the pensions, we are extending the subsidies to this. If in India the government is extending a subsidy on, like, let us suppose say the cooking gas, the same subsidy is extended to Nepal also. All those who have served in Indian armed forces, after retirement, if they go back to their motherland, they go back to Nepal, they are provided pension there itself by the Indian government. So these are the cooperation. But then also Nepal uses India, Nepal uses China. Then there is the issue of, the next thing is that we discussed about the Maoist movement in Nepal. The thing is that who are these Maoist people? They are the supporters of the ideology of Mao, who was the founder of the Chinese Communist Party. So they are just like not so friendly about India's relations improving with Nepal. So they are not like in the favor of India's relations with Nepal. So that is also a problem with this. Then there are, like we discussed initially, the hydroelectricity, which okay. Then there is issue of Nepal has often accused India that it is not allowing easier access to sea routes, since Nepal is, as we can see in the map, Nepal is a landlocked country. This is Nepal. It's a landlocked country. It does not have access to sea. So it has often accused that India does not allow it to access the sea through its territory. So these are then there are, like, the good things are being discussed here. Like, apart from these differences, there have been cooperation among these two countries, related to hydroelectricity and so on and so forth. But the thing is that since Nepal is a democracy, and with the time we are expecting that the relations would improve once Nepal, the institution of democracy gets institutionalized, gain its root in Nepal, that will definitely increase the relation, that will better the relations between the two countries. The next comes India and Sri Lanka. India, when it comes to Sri Lanka, the pop-up that should emerge in your mind should be the ethnic conflict. Now if you just see that there is, like I just showed you the map, the areas which are in now Tamil, the areas which are acquired by the minority there, that is the Tamilians. And if you just see, we have a complete state, that is Tamil Nadu right over here, and these are the portions which are acquired by the Tamil minority in Sri Lanka. Now the Tamils living in India, they are sympathetic to the cause of the Tamilians which are in Sri Lanka. Now since this state is this state is expecting Indian government's support and to raise their voice against the oppression that is committed against these minority Tamils in Sri Lanka by the majority community, that is Sinhala. So this issue plays a domestic role in India, and in view of this, India also intervened into the domestic affairs of Sri Lanka in 1987, and like we discussed in the India-Sri Lanka relations, which led to the assassination of our former Prime Minister, that is Rajiv Gandhi. This is the major issue. It also plays a role in Indian politics also. Like during Manmohan Singh government, the Tamil Nadu party, the Jayalalitha's party AIADMK, was supporting it in center, and there were a few issues on which in the United Nations the Tamil Nadu government wanted India to take stand on those issues, to favor those issues which were like a discussion related to the Tamilians in Sri Lanka, but Indian government did not do that, and just because of that, the Jayalalitha's party withdrew support from Manmohan Singh's government. So this is how this foreign issue plays a role in our domestic relations. Next comes Bhutan. Bhutan is also, it enjoys really cordial relationship. This is the country that we enjoy unlimited solidarity And apart from hydroelectric, the major issue here is the major part of cooperation among these two countries, India and Bhutan, is the hydroelectric power that we harness in Bhutan, and which meets the needs of our people living in the northeast region. Apart from that, historically also all the terrorist organizations flourishing there, all the anti-India activities that were flourishing on the land of Bhutan were suppressed by the monarch in the Bhutan. Okay, then we have another country, that is Maldives. Maldives is like a smaller island country, like I told you about. It's in the further south of Sri Lanka. So we also enjoy cordial relations. So then there is an event that is told here in November 1988, when some Tamil mercenaries from Sri Lanka attacked the Maldives. The Indian Air Force and Navy reacted quickly to the Maldives' request to help stop the invasion. So this is how it is. Then there is Maldives is, it does not have any natural resource of water like any river or something like that. So what it does is it depends upon the ocean water. They just like filter it and use it, and often there are instances that there is a shortage of shortage of fresh water in that country. India also help Maldives in those things. So that is. Then another is the economic development and tourism and fisheries. Maldives is a tourist destination which is often visited by Indians. Then we have the next paragraph is explaining that why India is having a little bit of problems with these countries. The answer lies in the geography of the region. If you just see the sheer size of India, it is like many times bigger as compared with these smaller nations. So what happens is these smaller nations, they are just like mostly skeptical about India's designs in the region. They are just fearful of India's activities. Even if it is extending something good to those countries, then also they are doubtful about India's intentions, that it is such a big country and it could just with the nap of an within just few days they could just overtake the entire territory. So they are just like a little bit fearful about India's behavior towards them, and they just feel that India is meddling in, like I told you, like if we take example of Nepal has often accused India of meddling in its domestic affairs. Okay, now there is next paragraph comes with the cooperation between these two countries. We will be starting with that in the next class, and next class most probably this chapter will be over. That would be all for today. Just watch the video and let me know if you have got any questions related to this.